But it's Tim Gillette, and we're back here with another Tim Gillette show. Today's guest, Dana Humphrey. I know nothing about this woman other than she looks cool. She sounded cool in the couple of seconds we had to talk on screen. All right. But other than that, I'm going to get to know her just like you. Now, she's got to be cool because I only let the coolest people on the planet on this show. So let's dig right in. Let's get to find out who Dana is and what she does and how she helps people. Hello, Dana.
Hello, Tim. How's it going?
All right. Where do you live, by the way?
I live in Rockaway Park, New York. It's in Queens on the beach by JFK.
Oh. You had me up until you said New York.
Oh, you're not a New York fan?
I grew up in the Poconos. You're the other side to me.
I like it here.
Have you lived there your whole life?
Nope.
No. Where are you from originally?
I was born in Canada, grew up in London, England, and then mainly grew up in California.
Okay, so you did get smarter along the way, all right? You know, Canada, England, California, New York. So you did get smarter. Someday we'll get you come down on here to Texas, visit us. All right.
That's a good one.
Told you we were gonna have a little bit of fun, huh? Anyway. Dana, I understand that you're in the PR business. All right. Now, you the PR stunt person, or are you the PR like let me get you business?
You know, sometimes we pull some stunts.
Well, I want to go down that road because I've pulled PR stunts online. I'm like known for it. But anyway, tell me some stunts you guys have pulled for your clients.
All right. So we used to work with we specialize in the pet industry. So most of our clients are pet product manufacturers, so dog and cat stuff. So we used to work with a company called Evermore, and they were the first ones. There's two female co-founders, and one was a chef and one was I don't know, the other partner, and they ate their dog food for a month online every day, and they were featured on the Today Show. And this was like, now it's like everybody does that. Yeah. But that was like this was the first one. Yeah. This was the first one. This was like many years ago, like 10 years ago.
Still, I mean, that's like bravery. I remember the 1980s. Now, again, I grew up in Pennsylvania, and Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania. There was a bunch of people like through the winter camped out on the top of a billboard to win a house. You know what I mean? And
were you one of them?
Huh?
Were you one of them?
No, I was not one of them. So. I did do though. I worked on the promotions team, like a non-credited position on the promotions team for a radio station in Philadelphia. So like when they needed somebody crazy to do something, I was the crazy guy doing it to get others involved. So like they got one crazy to call in, that would be me. Other would go, okay, I'll do it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Crazy Tim, Joe, Sam, whoever I was that day, all right, was going to do it. So if Crazy Tim was going to do it, I'll do it too. So basically that was what my job was. And then I would go on to some of the bars and clubs they do and try to pull pranks on people while at the bar. So, yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Nice.
So my best to date PR stunt though is when Blab. Do you remember the live streaming platform Blab? Were you on that a couple of years ago?
It kind of sounds familiar. I don't think I was on it.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was a program that did live streaming, kind of similar to what we do now, but it was all encompassed in its own site, and you could broadcast it to Twitter. I don't think it had the Facebook technologies, but if you look at my logo down there with the green check into it, there was a thing on Blab that we actually told people they become Blab official, and we just put a green emoji next to their name.
Nice.
All right, and we did this as a PR stunt until Blab kind of said, hey, can you stop? Because people are emailing us asking us how to become Blab official. And we don't have a Blab official. And like we were going to make T-shirts on it, cups, mugs. I was like my email list grew probably by about 3,000 people of people opting into my website to figure out how to get Blab official.
That's awesome.
What a way to yeah. The other one I did was I sold a Texas box of air. For $20. Like the whole thing is, a box. Texas Air, it's here. You want it. It's $20. And it was all built on that
How much was the
publicity stunt to
shipping?
get people to go, okay, I got to see what's on the other side of this. So I'll pay the $20 to figure it out. And then, and then we gave them like a month in our monthly program it was $100. We gave it to them for $20 for the month to test it out. Great stunt. Everybody remembers me for the stupid stunt, but like I didn't get long-term customers out of it. I got a boost of new people, but I didn't get a lot of long-term customers. So,
yeah.
But anyway,
sounds like Blab was like the original Clubhouse.
Yes, it was Clubhouse with video.
Yeah. Cool.
All right. And I know, like, what Zoom is, Zoom was the most, cross between Zoom, and there was another couple platforms that did it. Now, everybody that was on Blab is kind of like in 7 to 10 different places because they found a way they wanted to use it, and they went with the person that offered them that. Mm-hmm. All right. Like me, we use StreamYard because it broadcasts I can broadcast to 9 locations at one time. That's why we use it. It has nothing to do with there's a community in StreamYard. No, this had a community base with it. So basically, you and I would be chatting in a room, all right, and the people would be in the comments over here, and we could put 2 more people in the room, but 4 total. It was all we could do.
Yeah.
And you just had a conversation with people, and it was good. A neat tool. Some of my YouTube videos still have some of my recordings from it. So anyway, but. Yeah. So that was my things with PR, but I'm sure you're a little more professional than Tim Gillette is. So tell us some of the things that you are helping and why. Well, first of all, why did you choose just the pets to work in PR?
So when I graduated from college, I have a degree in public relations, and my family dog, Winston, the pug, moved in with me. And is that me echoing?
We don't hear it on the show. It may be you echoing to yourself. Yeah, I don't hear it.
I'm echoing to myself. So basically I was a new college grad and was living in San Diego and ended up working in the pet industry at a place called Muttropolis. So I was doing all the PR and marketing for Muttropolis, and that's how I got into the pet space. And then I quit my job and I moved to New York City in 2008, and I actually moved to New York for a job. I got laid off 2 months later, and I decided to go full-time with Whitegate PR. And the first 2 years, we were working with all types of consumer products and services, music, olive oil, you name it, like all kinds of different people. And it was a little too crazy. And I decided I really liked working with people in the pet industry. They're passionate. They're nice people. So yeah, I pretty much focused on the pet space pretty soon in starting my career in public relations.
So, but I think it's interesting that 2008 getting stuck in New York. I can imagine. First of all, I remember 2008 in the real estate bomb, right? Yeah. And I was fortunate enough to have investors in 2009 to buy at the bottom of the market. It's the only reason why I have a good real estate company is because I bought in the bottom of the market. But I can't imagine moving to New York, of all places, losing your job in 2008. Oh my gosh, how much fear went through your mind in that?
I quit my job in July of 2008 so I could start a job in New York City at Women for Hire in September 2008, and I hosted 10 career fairs for women in like 12 different cities or 10 different cities. It was crazy. And in November they let me go. And you know what? It was all worked out. I never would have moved to New York. I never would have moved to New York if it wasn't for that opportunity. And I love it here.
Yeah. But isn't the PR space, isn't it best to be officed out of New York? That's the ideal place. I would say there in LA probably be the 2 best cities to run a business like that.
Yeah. The networking here is phenomenal. Definitely was a great place to launch my PR business. And actually, during a time when a lot of businesses are in a lot of crisis, they actually do need more marketing, more public relations.
Exactly.
So it actually was not a bad time for me to start.
Now, when you started it, you start like kitchen table, you and 2 or 3 friends, or how did that start?
Yeah, I was 25 years old. I had my college laptop, and I was working from home. I lived with 2 roommates. I had just moved to New York City. I was living in a furnished apartment in the middle of Brooklyn. And I actually found my desk. It was like in the junk pile next to a school, and it was like a little kid's desk. And I was like, score a desk. So I brought it home with me. I had my little desk, and I was like, great, I'm open. Over the years, things change, and I had a real office and boardroom and all kinds of things and a team. And eventually I moved back to working from home. But there's been lots of phases of how the business has been structured.
Well, I would think during COVID, everybody kind of, even my wife worked from home during COVID, but like, the corporate world, I can imagine you still wanting to get into the corporate world, but it's a unique twist then that you went with pets. That's unique because number one, that's the last thing people are going to give up. Believe it or not, they would give up eating before they'd give up their pets.
Yeah, the pet industry is an $84 billion industry. It's actually bigger than candy, movies, and video games combined.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking my 2 cats are my world, but my last cat was really my world. He had a blog and everything, but it's like
2 cats also.
Huh?
I have 2 cats also.
Yeah. We have a brother-sister cat now.
Me too.
Yeah. We had a cat that now I was never a pet person. And my oldest stepson, when we sold my father-in-law's house after he passed, and the house all of us were living there. We had our kids were living there, both my stepsons and my daughter and my wife and I and my father-in-law. And like, we looked at the size of the house. My wife were like, we travel all the time. Last thing we want to do is come home on Friday and have to re-clean the house after you kids. You're all in your 20s now. It's time to move on. We're selling the house and we're going to go figure it out. Well, Ruben, my oldest stepson, he had a cat, or 2 cats, and a dog. And he went to an apartment. They only allowed 2 pets. So he said to me, he says, Tim, will you watch over Safu? Because I know Safu is probably the most calmest of my cats. Will you watch over him for 6 months for me? After 6 months, he got a house, all right, bigger space. He come back and says, well, I'll take Safu back. And I'm like, no, Safu's my cat now.
Yeah.
And he had I created a blog around him, Instagram account, Facebook page. I mean, this cat had everything. And he's got like 1,500 subscribers, and he's passed. He passed away in February, but still, it's like pets are it. It's if I could find a way to make around pets and blogs, I tell people that's the best place. If you don't know how to do a blog for your business, just start something for your cat or your dog, and you will do a ton more.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway, my car's running? It shouldn't be. My mom says my car's running.
That could be problematic.
Yeah. No, I can see. I can look out the door. My car's locked. So, anyway, and Mom always comes over when I have a podcast. So,
right.
Yeah. So anyway, you figured you need help. And this is my mom. She's from Queens.
From Queens. Oh, nice.
I live in Rockaway. Have you ever been to the beach out here?
Yeah. Yeah.
I've actually been to Rockaway a ton of times.
Once. Yeah.
Nice.
So, no.
A nice area.
It is. It is. It's a nice area. I just picked on her. I said, oh my gosh, you're from the other side of the river.
I just came to see if you have a stapler.
I do. Allow me to get my mom a stapler, Dana.
Okay.
All right.
So
got some stapling to do.
Should I make him dinner, Dana, for letting me use the stapler?
It sounds like a nice idea. What are you making?
Reservations. Hi, Dana. See you.
I'm very lighthearted in everything I do, Dana. Now you know. All right. Yeah, I told you this is going to be the most interesting podcast and fun that you've ever been on about your business. So it's interesting that you we're talking about pets, all right, and how so many people will be attached to their pets. How many pets did you go through before you went? I just need to be in the pet business doing this in PR.
I really just had Winston the pug, and he was older and he passed away. And
Mhm.
I actually am also the pet lady. It's a trademarked brand that I created.
Cool. Yeah.
I do a lot of TV segments talking about tips and tricks for pet owners as the pet lady, and really for, gosh, the last long while, I haven't had any furry creatures. I had a fish for a while that I adopted. I had a African water frog for a while that I adopted,
Mhm.
but I just got the kitties about a year ago.
Mhm.
I was actually living in Guatemala for the first couple of months of the pandemic, and I fell in love with a cat that we named Regina. I have no idea what her real name is, but she would come visit us at the house in Guatemala. And when I came back, I was like, I need some cats in my life. So I adopted Chance and Sassy. But I was I was fur free for a while. I had Monster the goldfish, and I had PC. Oh yeah, his name was Prince Charming, but I called him PC. The water frog. I met a lady at a Christmas party, and she was like complaining that she had to commute between her house in Greenwich to Miami to Manhattan, and she couldn't take care of this frog anymore. It was her daughter's, and her daughter had gone to college. And I was like, and the key factor that I said yes to, she said that the frog lived in Poland Springs water. And I was like, at the time I was getting Poland Springs water delivered to my house. And I was like, okay, great. I got this. I can totally watch PC, he's welcome. So I had PC for a long time.
Well, I mean, you've seen the Rocky movies, right?
Yeah.
And the Rocky movies, he's got those turtles in the first movie or the second movie. Those were his real turtles that
really?
Yeah, he still had. They were also in, I want to say Creed 1. They were in that as well. And they're his real life pets.
That's pretty cool.
So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he also, though, is one of the most unique stories is he was broke, trying to get that Rocky produced as a movie, and he sold his dog to eat. And then basically when he got the contract, went back and paid an outrageous amount of money to get his dog back.
Oh, wow.
And the movie, I think the dog's name is Butkus in the movie. Yeah, it's in the movie. Yeah. So.
Oh, wow. What a great story. Yeah. That just gave me the chills. This lady that I do hot yoga with just told me that her son was out on the beach, I don't know, kayaking or paddleboarding or something. And he's studying, marine biology, and there was a turtle swimming out there, and he could tell that it was not a sea turtle. So he rescued him and brought him in and took him to the local restaurant and got him some carrots and kale. And at the restaurant, they found a home for him.
Wow.
Yeah. But I guess someone probably thought, let's return the turtle to the natural habitat, and plopped him in the ocean. And he's like, I'm not an ocean turtle.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm that way when I see, when I see pets. Like our cats were 2 feral cats, and they pulled out of a colony here in Dallas, Texas, and we got them from an adoption agency. And I liked the girl cat, and that was the whole reason I was getting it. But then they said, the message says, well, they were on the site, they were called Van and Vanessa. We call them Fred and Fiona.
Okay.
But they said that, Vanessa was she's very, very independent girl, but her brother is really dependent on her. So, and he's very, very shy. It took him a long time to warm up to us. And now it's to the point, he'll come and let us scratch his back, but we couldn't touch him for the first 2.5 months he was here. We couldn't touch him. If we came out to put food in, we had to put food in the dish and then walk away so he'd come to the dish. Yeah. He wouldn't even come near us. But that's when you look at people, people, they don't understand when they're putting their pets in places that the pets don't belong.
Yeah. Well, you might like this. My cats are from Texas.
Oh, really?
Yes. They were living in Texas, and actually Sassy, my girl, got in an accident with a coyote.
Oh, wow.
And the coyote actually ate her tail off. And so Chance and Sassy came to New York. They, were spayed and neutered. Sassy had her tail amputated, and they were put in different foster homes. And then they were not working out at either place, and they reunited in my apartment. they were probably like, what the heck? You know, like
Yeah.
they hadn't seen each other since Texas, and here they are in New York. So the Sassy's my fearful one. They say that cats are either two things. They're like meet and greet or run and hide. So I have one of each.
Yeah, and we have a small, it's 1,100 square foot condo, and the first 2 weeks, they during the day they were behind the washer and dryer.
Yeah.
At night they would come out and run all over the house.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was within 2 weeks, I think, of them being here, they would come out and sit on the balcony edge and look down on us. And my wife was away on a business trip the third week, and that's when Fiona started coming into the bed, and when she would lay next to me on the bed, so I would scratch her.
Uh-huh.
All right. And Fred would get on the bed, but he would sit in the far corner. He wouldn't get up. Now, I mean, one morning Fred woke up and Fred was right there at my face.
Nice.
He fell asleep there. So apparently he's gotten used to us apparently. So yeah. And my oldest stepson that had the original cat, he now has it's not called a York. It's called I can't think of the name of the dog. It's long and fluffy, and I can't think of the name of it.
Oh, Dachshund?
No, not a Dachshund. The Dachshund are the tall, the long and skinny ones.
Yeah.
This is not Yorkie. No.
Yorkies are not that fluffy. They have real hair.
Yeah. I can't think of what this thing.
Like an Akita?
No. A
chow?
No. I'm gonna have to go look it up.
Really fluffy.
I know. I'm gonna have to go look it up now. But my wife has a picture when she was a baby. I used to have a big diesel truck, and if we went someplace, she would get in the big diesel truck with me and sit right. She would fit right on the console, and she would sit right there. Now she's too big for it, but she loved riding in my truck. You know what I mean? And I would go to get they'd come over to the house. I'd go to get coffee. Sure enough, Dharma wanted to go to the truck. Wanted to go in the truck with me to go get coffee. So, yeah. Anyway, it's funny how cats and dogs, you know what I mean? We can really get attached to them, and they become our world. Are you doing anything with any pet food companies, or is it mainly other stuff for pets?
I'm working with a treat company. It's called Bow Wow Labs, and it makes are you familiar with something called a bully stick?
Yeah.
Yeah, bully sticks. So bully stick's a popular treat for dogs to chew on. But a lot of dogs actually choke on the end of it. So they invented something called the bully buddy. So you take the bully stick and you screw it into the bully buddy, and then they can chew on the bully stick until it gets to the very end. And then they won't chew on the nub because it stays locked into the bully buddy.
Okay.
So that's a pretty cool thing I'm working with. They also make some other treats like Crunch Puffs and Wagyu wafers. And I'm also working with a company called Happy Bond, which makes collagen for pets. And they're launching a new pet food in a couple months. Mm-hmm. There's a big pet trade show that we have in the pet industry called Super Zoo, and it's in Las Vegas at the end of August. So they'll be launching the food then.
Yeah, I have a friend in Arizona who does like all natural dog foods, but he doesn't do cat foods.
Yeah. And
I keep telling him, dude, you go to cat foods. I got a whole blog. I'll test it on my cat, and then I'll But I was surprised. My cat was a very finicky eater. Safu. There were certain foods that we would get from him he wouldn't eat. They have those. Is it called Fresh Pet?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. Fresh Pet. I used to get them. Like the first time he tried them, he liked them. But then they'd sit in the dish and rot, and he'd put dry food in there, and he'd eat the dry food. Okay.
They say cats are pretty picky. I mean, my cat's pretty much, they eat what I give them. They're pretty flexible.
Yeah.
But they're also young. I hope that stays with them.
Well, that which goes to the other area I wanted to go into with pets and cats is that maybe you were representing some companies with cat toys. Oh my gosh, cat toys. I think I've spent a couple $100 on the 2 new kids' cat toys.
So my parents have no grandkids, to their dismay, and they're accepting the fact that they have grandkitties. So they've been definitely sending some toys. We have this new thing. It looks like looks like an alien saucer, and it has this thing around it and this little thing that spins. They love it. They absolutely love it. But I mean, pretty much they like to play with the laser.
Yes,
When they
yes.
are ready to play laser, they go find it, pick it up, and like drop it on my feet, and they're like, "Okay, all right, lady, let's get the laser going."
No, mine, and I was just looking to see if I have one laser light on the upstairs and I have one downstairs to be able to play with them.
Yeah.
And I keep going. I go through batteries on that stupid laser light like you wouldn't believe. But I do have it. I do have it in my pointer for my clicker for my presentations. I have one in there. So I've used that before too to mess with them. Mine. The other thing is like I don't let my cats on my countertops, my table. All right, and that the hardest thing with these kittens is they're chasing flies now that get in, and they want to climb up on the wherever to get them, and not realize, oh my God, I'm not supposed to be up there until they get until they get a squirt with a squirt gun. So yeah.
So okay, I have a squirt gun, and I used to have a lot of plants, and Sassy ate all of them, and I would squirt her with the squirt gun when she would eat the plants, and now she ate the squirt gun. Yeah. She is a smart cat. They don't destroy stuff. They just don't, but they were like, okay, this squirt thing's got to go.
Mine are bottles, and I have several of them because number one, watering plants. Number two is I have them from when we renovated the condo. Like we had that old fashioned popcorn ceilings, and I used a ton of squirt bottles to wet it and scrape it all off. Mm-hmm. So I have like 6 or 7 squirt bottles in the garage. So I just go out and grab them. But yeah, I've never had the cats eat. So the one toy we had was you fill it up. It looks like a little hen, and you fill it up with treats. And when they push it, it'll cause it to rotate, and a treat will pop out the back end. So that was the most interesting one that they had. Other than that, it's like pieces of paper that I crumple up from the desk. They'll dig them out of my trash can and bat them around the house in the middle of the night.
Yeah, I mean, my cat's favorite place to sleep is on my day planner, which is right next to my desk.
Yeah. So I mean, how many years now are you into representing only pets and pet-like products?
At least 11 years.
11 years? Okay. Mm-hmm. And how big's your team now to be able to go out recruiting and finding clients as well as representing these clients?
I have a small team. I have a couple of stay-at-home moms that work with me. But we don't really go after or go out recruiting clients. Pretty much at this point, everything's referral based. So we get a lot of people coming in.
I was just like referral, or are they seeking you out right now?
Yeah, both.
Because it's like that. I would think, you know what I mean? If I had a pet product, I would seek a specific PR firm for that.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I'm an author, all right, and I have tons of authors who go, well, I'm going to go hire a PR firm for my book, and like I want to go, dude, you better find the right PR firm because 90% of the ones going to use just the PR firm to do their book. They just collect your money and they get nothing from it. And I'm like, dude, you got to find an author-only PR firm.
Yeah, totally. I mean, there's about 5 other PR firms that specialize in the pet industry, and we all know each other. We're all friendly with each other, And we've also worked with a lot of authors. And I'm actually an author myself. My book's coming out November 4th. But we've worked with a lot of published and self-published authors, and there's definitely you definitely want to find a niche for whatever type of product you're doing, whether it's a book or a pet product or something completely different, because there are nuances in each industry. And, it's pretty easy for me to get a pet product placement, whereas a new PR firm who mainly specializes in entertainment or something there's just going to be a learning curve and a time of research and stuff like that. We often get hired by other PR firms when, they kind of find that it's a little trickier than they thought it was going to be. We got a couple of years ago, Facebook came out with a TV show. They had like this thing called Facebook Watch. And they came out with a TV show called, it was like, it was a dog show. I forget the name of it right now, but it was Facebook Watch, and it was this dog TV show, and it was like a month long, and it had Lisa Vanderpump, and this big entertainment PR firm wasn't able to get that much coverage, and then so they kind of partnered with us, and we got them a ton of placements, and that was a lot of fun to work with.
Do you have, in working with your clients, then do you have like a long list of people who own pets, or are you tapping into databases of pet owners to get, to fill this stuff?
No, we're mainly working with the media. So it's mainly media relations. So
Okay.
We work with places like Pet Guide and Dogster and Doggington Post, and USA Today has a pet column. Mainstream media that covers pets or pet niche specific publications. Like there's this in the Pacific Northwest, there's a magazine called Spot. Every market has its own little pet section. There's something called Sidewalk Dog, Daily Kibble, Pet Age. Wow. Yeah.
It's wise that you know all of them. All right. One of the things that my mentor and coach has always said to me, and he reinforces it because we do like a big events for bloggers, and he always says to me, well, did you put out a press release? You go to prweb.com and create it. And I'll bet you everybody says, every one of the people in his mastermind goes, what's the name of that website that you always say? And I mean, you've heard of PR Web, I'm sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. The wires used to be a lot more effective than they are now.
Yeah.
Like 10 years ago, the wires were a great place to put out a press release. We'd say putting it on the wire. Yeah. There's PR Newswire and PR Web. PR Newswire costs about $900 and PR Web costs like $200 to $300. I find they're a lot less effective than they used to be. It's really kind of, the way we do public relations is directly to media contacts. There's no like big blast or like a giant email list or something. It's personalized outreach to, TV, radio, magazines, newspapers, and blogs. And that's what I've learned is gotten the best coverage.
Cool. Well, now you know that you can have a cat person write a blog post about it. So my cat was very opinionated. I wasn't opinionated, but my cat.
Right. I'm sure Safu had a lot of opinions.
And yeah, I told things from my cat's perspective and put them so into perspective with the world to make people realize how stupid you're really fighting over the stuff in the news, dude. I made it like my cat was complaining about the squirrels climbing the wall. Yeah. I mean, do you realize how dumb that it really made it sound so dumb to make it go, well, why am I fighting over this? It's just like squirrels crawling over the wall. Okay. Yeah.
That makes me think about something. It's totally unrelated, but I used to, in my old apartment, I left a Snickers out on my kitchen table, and next day there's a huge hole in my screen, and I'm like, I walk in and I'm like, oh no, I've been robbed, my window's been busted in, and I even had like a grate on the outside, and no, turns out there was a squirrel who had chewed a hole through my screen and came in to steal the Snickers, and the Snickers was like 3/4 eaten, and there was all these like little bite marks out of it, and I was like, what the heck? So I threw it away. Somehow I was like, must have been getting some free Snickers somewhere, because I did it again. And I came, put it in the same place, like came home, threw the Snickers on the kitchen table. And then I caught the squirrel. 10 minutes later, the squirrel was like in my kitchen on my table. And I started yelling at him, and he grabbed the Snickers and he left.
So we have my coach started this where he actually has for his events is he has a squirrel that he sets on the stage.
A real squirrel?
A stuffed squirrel. And he has it there for a reason, because he always gets distracted. So he said, this here's my squirrel. I'm going to let you know why, because squirrel. You remember that movie? I'm like, yep, that's distraction.
Is your coach Peter Shankman by chance?
No.
That sounds like something he would do.
Yeah, no, Craig Duswalt. I don't know if you know Craig. Craig Duswalt he went to school for marketing. And he spent the first 10 years of his life after college working for bands like Air Supply and Guns N' Roses.
Nice. Cool.
Yeah, and now he teaches. He was doing this thing called rockstar marketing, talking about marketing your business using rockstar techniques,
Oh, okay.
just
Yeah.
like they used to use to fill stadiums. It's like
Yeah. I've heard of that.
yeah. So I mean, he's very well known. He's also a very close personal friend of mine now. I mean, I've known him for 10 plus years. So it's like actually 4th of July. He moved to Dallas here from California last year during the pandemic. And he's 15 minutes from my house. Well, I was up at his house on the golf course for the 4th of July party.
Cool.
But he's, and like there's actors from LA and, TV personalities from LA hanging out at his house on a golf course and like this tiny little town in Texas, right? Because of who he knows. But same idea. So one of the things that I learned early on because I do events was getting celebrities involved. I'm curious as to whether you're working with or you've got celebrities involved because celebrities are very into pets. If you're working with any celebrities with pets.
Yeah. I mean, over the years, I've interviewed Howard Stern. He came to a pet event that we were doing.
Mm-hmm.
His wife, Beth O, is a huge pet lover, especially cats.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if you've heard, they have like a whole wing of their house that they dedicated just for their cat adoption efforts. So yeah, I've met Beth O and Howard. Beth O did a collaboration with one of the jewelers I was working with that made pet jewelry. That was fun. Let's see. Oh, my brain is blanking right now. There's this TV show I used to watch, and the lead actress tweeted about one of the grooming products I was working with a while ago, and it was like immediate traffic. I mean, yeah. And then I've worked with companies like Halo Pet Food, where one of their like main investors is Ellen. And, in order for her to tweet about the company that she kind of owns, it takes like 6 weeks and like 800 emails. And
just to get a 180 character tweet out. Oh my God.
So everybody works a little bit differently. Right now I'm working with Happy Bond, and they've just done some collaborations with Halle Berry for an elixir for pets. And they're also doing a collaboration with Ziggy Marley for a grooming line for pets. So that's kind of cool. So that,
well, I mean, yeah. And I have a client who's basically, she helps actors and actresses get started. And her whole thing is she wants to get into this whole thing with pets. All right. And have a pet charity. And I said to her, celebrities. The celebrities, how many? I mean, I can tell you every celebrity I know personally, and I can tell you who their dog is. Because these are people who are really passionate about their pets.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And I never wondered if that was some of the tools you might have used to connect. And trust me, getting Ellen to endorse something, that's a PR person's dream and nightmare all at one time.
Yeah.
So. Well, that being said, I mean, over the years, it seems like you put a pretty interesting niche here. All right. But I want to go back to the college days, or when you were younger. Then again, you're younger compared to me. What is anybody who gave you a piece of advice or something that has carried you on as like life advice? And I asked that because I had someone when I was 21 years old. I worked part-time at a gas station to supplement my income. And a boss gave me advice on how to run the job, which became life advice. And he said, basically, run this shift like you own this business. And because of that, I've always taken ownership of everything I do. My businesses, my charities, my church, my community. All right, I take ownership. And that became job advice, became life advice. Have you gotten anything like that?
Yeah, definitely. So when I was working at Metropolis, I worked for, it was actually two couples that were partners. And I worked directly for Janet, and she was one of the owners and the chief marketing officer. And Janet and John had a couple other businesses, and they actually came to New York, and we were out one night having a drink. And John said to me, because I had just started Whitegate PR, I had gone full time with Whitegate PR, and I was talk to them just about, about the new opportunity, new business. And John told me, taking on new clients is like dating. You don't just say yes to everybody. You have to say no. Mm-hmm. And that was really like, that just clicked on something for me, and that was really in the time when I was like working with all kinds of businesses, spreading myself very thin, doing all kinds of things. And it helped me really focus and say, you know what? Yeah, I can't just say yes to everybody. That's crazy. And that's one of my most valuable pieces of advice. So I'm grateful for him, John McCulley.
That's an interesting, thing is, and many people in business don't think of that, Dana, is, don't be everything to everybody. Yeah. Pick a select few and work with them and then grow out. Yeah. And like, wow, that's huge advice. All right. And as I see, all right, you've carved out a niche, and that there, you can be very successful in that niche because how many people are in it? You know what I mean? And you said, there's 4 other firms?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's something I tell people all the time is like, never niche enough. The more niche you can get, the more specific you are, the more people remember you. And the more people are like, oh, you're perfect for this person. And they refer you. Yeah. When you're just doing everything for everyone, it's like, you're doing nothing for no one, really.
Yeah. Like me, I only interview the coolest people on the planet. So anyway, well, Dana, it's been really cool having you on the show today and sharing quite a lot of information about what you do. What is a website that people can connect with you? What's the best place that they can reach out to you?
Sure. You can find me at whitegatepr.com.
Whitegate PR. Any reason why we picked the name Whitegate? I'm just curious. I assume it has something to do with the dog getting out of the gate. I'm guessing.
So it's kind of an embarrassing story. I was so I started my business 2 years before I went full time with it. So I started it part time while I was still working at Metropolis, and my boyfriend at the time was an entrepreneur, and he'd been really trying to encourage me to be an entrepreneur. And so I went down to the Treasury Department, and I, took the paperwork to fill it out to become a new business owner. I was doing a DBA, which is doing business as. And it asked, it says, what's your alias? And at that time, I was young, I was in my 20s, and I was like, oh, my alias is, your first pet and the street you grew up on. So I wrote down, my first pet was Bridget the Fidget. She was a rat. And the first street I grew up on was Whitegate. So I wrote down Bridget Whitegate. And then a couple weeks later, I get the piece of mail in my hand, and I'm looking at this, and it's like, great, you have your new business registered as Bridget Whitegate. And I was like, oh no, that is not what I wanted. I thought you just needed some random alias, like some kind of passcode, So I go back down there, and they're like, you can change it. You have to keep part of it. So I was able to change it to Whitegate PR. Yeah. So that's how I first started. I don't tell that many people this story because it's embarrassing, but
truthfully though, all right, my wife just started another company last August with other people who used to be with her in her industry, and they were trying to find a new name. And the old company that she worked for was named after her current company's owner's wife. Okay. They started that company. And so the company was called Lori's. The company they have now is named after their daughter, Kelly's. And they were like starting this new company. She said, well, I don't want to just call it after someone's name. So they went through everything trying to find a name. Last night, we're sitting on the couch, and a commercial comes on for this new app for getting concert tickets. And it's called Tick Pick. I know. I'm pretty sure you're thinking what I'm thinking, right? And the guy goes to his friend, oh, look at this. It's Elias. Oh, check out. We can get this on Tick Pick, right? And they're all like, no, right? And then they show the name of it. And I had to back it up and watch it. My wife goes, trust me, I know. Trying to find a name in 2021, it's not easy. Yeah. Well, we went with Simple Easy Marketing and trademarked it. Nice. Originally, I wanted Stupid Easy Marketing, but someone had that trademarked. Now, I never would have thought of trademarks except for the fact that I was calling my show the Gillette Live Show. The name Gillette is trademarked.
Right.
Even
if it's a different industry.
Yes. I was still.
They got all the trademarks.
They have the trademark in the with the marketing for their products.
Yeah.
And it's Procter and Gamble owns it. But I never thought about that. I'm like, well, my last name's Gillette. But then, my coach, basically said he was trying to trademark Rockstar Marketing and he couldn't.
Yeah.
And he basically said, listen, the companies who own this have more money than you and they can afford bigger lawyers.
Yeah. Yep.
Find something else and move on.
Yep.
So I did. Anyway.
Nice.
Well, before we go, Dana, I actually want to play my little game with you called This or That.
Okay.
You ready to play?
I'm ready.
All right. I got 9 questions, 2 choices. You pick out which one matches you. Maybe we'll have a discussion about it. Maybe we won't. We'll see. First one, Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Wars.
Star Wars. Like there was just over the weekend, they were playing the whole thing. Did you see it?
No.
I think it was on.
I was busy dancing on the beach.
Oh, yeah.
But I was wearing a R2D2 skirt.
Yeah. I want the drone that looks like the Millennium Falcon. That's the drone I want. Yeah.
Okay.
That doesn't have a camera in it. So, how about this one? If you are a person to read a book, or are you something to listen to the audio book or podcast?
Oh man, I like both.
So do I, but
Lately I've been reading books.
Okay. I'm just gonna let that one go. How about this one here? I'm pretty sure it's gonna be tough to decide, and that is dog or cat.
Cat.
Me too. I love having grandpuppies. I want a cat.
Yeah.
That cat can take care of itself while I go out. So let's move on to food products. Hamburger or taco?
Ooh, taco.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
shocking.
I thought you were going to be a hamburger girl.
I went to San Diego State. One of the houses I lived in, like our kitchen window was like connected to the 24-hour drive-through of a taco stand. It was great.
Is that the definition of heaven or heaven? I'm just curious there. No.
It was very convenient.
Yeah. A friend of mine, his my coach, his party of the weekend, he had a taco truck parked out in front of his house.
Perfect.
I'm telling you, they're awesome. And
Yeah.
I come out and the guys are like, I'm like, well, how much do I owe you? And the guy goes, no, it's included. He paid for it for the whole deal. So my wife and I are like, all right, we put a $20 bill in his tip jar. I'm like, dude, you're serving tacos. We're taking care of you. How about this one? Beer or wine?
Wine.
Wine? Red or white?
White.
White. Yeah. You're not a Napa person to test out the wines?
I don't really drink that. I don't drink that much anymore. I used to be a beer person, but then I gave up gluten. So I guess.
Yeah, that would be, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm doing a paint project right now, and I used to paint cars, and I used to always have I used to drink like a 6-pack of beer while I painted a car at night.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And I'm doing this paint project. I'm like, man, we don't have any beer. I'm like, oh, wow, I have a Corona Light in my refrigerator. Great. I'm having a Corona Light.
There you go.
How about this? Are you a boots girl or a heels girl?
Oh, I don't wear heels. I donated all my heels years ago. I like boots.
Boots? You realize, I'm from Texas and the kind of boots we talking about, right?
I have some real boots.
Yeah. Now you're a cool girl to me. So, yeah. How about dress up or yoga pants?
Oh, man. I want to say yes to all of your answers. I'd have to pick. I like to wear dresses with yoga pants.
Yeah.
I guess I'll pick yoga pants.
I like my first, during the pandemic, my first virtual event, suit jacket, shirt, pajama bottoms. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It's exactly me. So, but I wear jeans everywhere. So it's like, I don't have dress pants, and I had to go to a function one time. And it's actually in my speaking contract now because of this, that I have to wear jeans to speak. And everybody's like, why do you have that in there? Because I went to a country club one time to speak, and I couldn't get in because I had jeans on. And I'm like, I don't own a pair of dress pants, period. Yeah. It's just not what I do. Anyway, next 2 are the controversial ones. And let's see which ones and how controversial things are in your household. The next one, toilet paper. Over or under on the roll at your house?
Right. Yeah, I don't care.
Oh, I love you. I really love you now. Dana, I've had people on this show who are like, rainbows, unicorns, love and tranquility. And you ask them that question and fangs come out. They like grow instant fangs.
I've seen it.
On their opinions. I'm like,
yeah,
you're so lax on everything else in the world, but your toilet paper is like, divide the world over it.
As long as there's toilet paper there, I'm pretty happy.
It's good. Yep.
Yeah.
But my last one, boxers or briefs?
Why is that one so hard? Boxers?
I had a guy on about 4 weeks ago, and the guy and I, we had a 20-minute discussion at the end about what we'd like to wear and why. And I'm like, only I could have a business show and talk with another guy about the underwear we like to wear and don't wear. Anyway, it was all designed to be a little bit of fun. So thank you for playing our game. It wasn't that bad, was it?
No, it was fun.
Yeah. Make sure everybody tells you your website. So it's both the people watching the show on video as well as those who are watching the audio. Tell them it one more time.
Sure. It's whitegatepr.com.
Whitegatepr.com. Well, I thank you for coming out, and Dana, and spending time with us today and sharing a little bit of your world with our audience. We really appreciate that.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You bet. So, and to you, the listener, I want to thank you guys for coming in here today. Go check out Dana. If you need your pet product representative, I guarantee you this is probably the best person you're going to connect to. And as you can see, she's pretty fun. So go check her out. In the meantime, I'll be back with another guest real soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel as well as you get your podcast where it says Tim Gillette Show. I'll be back soon with another guest. In the meantime, guys, have a great day.